But New York City turned out to be anything but a retreat. John, feeling enormous pressure to follow up the success of Name, developed a career-threatening case of writer's block.
It was the first time in my life after I had had a hit where it was just like, oh, I'm a songwriter and nothing else. I'm a songwriter and a hot dog vendor. I'm a songwriter and a bartender. I'm a songwriter and a peanut roaster. You know, it's like, I'm a songwriter. And it scared the hell out of me, you know?
The insecurities John had worked so hard to overcome came rushing back. He slipped into a deep depression and became a recluse.
The one thing that I was good at was being taken away from me when I was having trouble writing. That's the one thing I really did pretty good, and now I can't do it. Yeah, and that felt really bad. And I was asking, am I supposed to be doing this? Is this really, you know, am I supposed to be a songwriter? Am I supposed to be a musician? Is this what I'm supposed to do with my life? I kept asking that. You know, give me a sign, God, give me a sign.
After 6 months in seclusion, Robbie convinced John to move back to Buffalo to work on new material. But John was still crippled by writer's block. He hadn't finished a song in over a year.
He was worried to death that he was never going to write another hit, that Name was it, and that was his peak and everything was going to be downhill.
The ironic thing about writer's block, see, is that you write the whole time, you know? You just think everything sucks.
You know, we had so many things written, you know, demos done and things, you know, that from my perspective and Mike's perspective and everyone else who was involved, you know, we had our record, you know, we thought we did, you know, but John was just, like, not convinced.
Despite Robbie's steadfast support, John's writer's block continued to stalk him for months. Then in January of '98, John was asked to write a song for the movie City of Angels.
I was determined to finish a thought, you know, and that's what Iris was about. That was a goal. I'm going to finish this song. If it sucks, I don't care.
The City of Angels assignment turned out to be a godsend. Without hesitation, John went to work. In a single evening, he crafted a haunting ballad that would soon dominate the airwaves.
You know, 30-piece orchestra shows up, and I looked at Robbie and just went, dude, there's no way back. We have turned another corner. It's like, there's no way back to the garage, man. Boy, everybody that hated us for Name is really going to hate us for this one. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
Within weeks of its release, Iris lifted the City of Angels soundtrack to #1.
Iris sort of made the band big, you know? People sort of went, oh, that's that band, that I sort of know their goofy name.
A certified smash hit, Iris silenced critics who dared to doubt the talent and determination of the Goo Goo Dolls.
For some reason, after that song became a hit, we were getting respect from all factions that we didn't get after Name was a hit. I think it was the validity of proving that we could do it again.
I was just happy that I had completed a thought. You know, really, really was. I was really happy that I had completed a thought, finally. You know, it was like such a sigh of relief. It sounded so good. And Robbie was really enthusiastic about it. It got us psyched to finish the record. You know, it was great. Could you whisper in my ear the things you want to feel? I'll give you anything to feel it coming.
After John saw Iris work, I think he had the confidence at that point to just let the record become what it was going to be, which is what we had always done from the beginning.
I want to wake up where you are. Things you want to feel. I'll give you anything to feel it coming.
After John saw Iris work, I think he had the confidence at that point to just let the record become what it was going to be, which is what we had always done from the beginning.
I want to wake up where you are.
He had to get rid of the nervousness of the next record, you know, before we could let that happen.
Iris was the cure for what was ailing John, and soon the band was back in the studio recording their 6th album.
Don't you love the life you kill? The priest is on the phone. Your father hit
On September 22nd, 1998, the Goo Goo Dolls released Dizzy Up the Girl. Its first single, Slide, shot up the charts, and the album reached double platinum status in less than 6 months.
Once Slide started to happen, all of a sudden the venues got bigger and the kids started singing and everybody started jumping up and down, and all of a sudden it's like, it's like, holy cow, here we are. It happened, finally.
Next, the Goo Goo Dolls get by with a little help from their friends.
Every time it seemed like we were about to go off the edge, there was always somebody there to help us.
When Behind the Music continues. In the summer of '99, the Goo Goo Dolls reaped the rewards of more than a decade of relentless determination. With their critics silenced and the trials of their past behind them, the band finally embraced their success. In the midst of an exhausting 18-month-long world tour, they showed no signs of fatigue. And these road-tested rock and roll warriors aren't about to slow down anytime soon.
It's just amazing that, we can be as successful as we are doing what we love to do. And you can never forget that.
I know that the time I have is limited, and, I'm trying to make the most out of the time I got, I don't want to blow any potential that's here, it's the only thing in my life I haven't completely up,
As for those who've accused the Goo Goo Dolls of trading their rock and roll souls for top 40 fame, John has not and will not make any apologies.
You don't got to convince anybody anything, As long as you think you're doing the right thing in your heart and you're being honest with yourself, everybody else. It's just the way it is. It's like, you don't like my music, off.
Perhaps in a cruelly ironic way, John's dysfunctional and abusive childhood prepared him for the hard shots he'd take later in life. Now in his 30s, John has developed a new appreciation for his parents, and with the help of family, he has made peace with his father's memory.
They told me a lot of stories about what my dad was like before he met my mother, and what he was like when he was a kid, and their father and their upbringing, and it's like, it really gave me closure on a lot of levels, and I'm grateful for that, and it felt good, man. I felt like it was like the first time in my life I was like, wow, my old man was all right. Baby's black balloon makes him fly. I almost fell into that hole in your life.
His father always told him he'd have to make it on his own. Today, John believes his father would be proud of what he's accomplished.
In the old days, he would have said, "You're out of your mind, kid. You ain't gonna do it." It's like, what are you, nuts? Playing that hippie music? And then he'd see us on The Tonight Show, and then he would have been like, all right, I saw you on Johnny Carson, you're not a bum. That's pretty much probably the way I sort of always kind of, imagined it would have gone. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think they'd understand.
Back in the winter of '86, John Resnick and Robbie Takak traded rock and roll fantasies, huddled around a heater in an abandoned warehouse. Years later, they're still side by side, but now they're basking in the warmth generated by tens of thousands of appreciative fans.
No way could I have done it without Robbie. Not a chance. And he couldn't have done it without me. And I love him. I love him really, really, passionately, like a brother.
Like, holy cow, here we are. It happened, finally, For all these years it happened, and yeah, it's just amazing. And now it doesn't seem to be stopping. And God, I hope it doesn't, for a little while. It's good.
We've been really lucky. I mean, every time it seemed like we were about to go off the edge, there was always somebody there to help us. you know, and pull us back and keep us going, you know? And it's like, you know, I'm thankful for all those people, you know? I don't feel so doomed anymore, you know? I'm pretty happy.